It's set to be a big year for our London athletes in the GB Wheelchair Rugby squad, culminating in next summer's Paralympic Games, of course, in Rio. This week, the squad for September's European Championships were announced. Almost immediately, they headed out to Switzerland for a training camp and a friendly tournament. The squad is skippered by Chris Ryan from the London Wheelchair Rugby Club, and he says all's looking fine.
Preparations are good. Everyone's fit and healthy at the moment, so that's obviously handy. We're number one ranked team in Europe, so we just kind of have to keep pushing on. Keep everyone in good shape, and hopefully we can take care of business in Finland.
Who are going to be your biggest concerns when it comes to the Europeans, do you think, Chris?
Probably Sweden. They always seem to bring their A game when it comes to the Euros. They'll spend most of the year not ranked as number one in Europe, and then they tend to bring it out on the day. So we'll have to hopefully put them away at some point, and Denmark probably are the second highest on our list to beat, I'd say.
Two teams that you're going to be competing against those two teams out in Switzerland, aren't you?
Yeah, it gives us a great measure out there. So,
from a psychological point of view, is that going to be, if you can strike a couple of psychological blows? I know it's, a preparation sort of, in inverted commas, friendly tournament is somewhat different from the actual, major tournament, but it's still a way of just a shot across the bows, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's no real friendlies, is there? So, if we can put a big number on them in Switzerland, then hopefully that makes them more wary of us, and we can hopefully do it again.
How often? I mean, obviously, the squad is, you are diverse, spread around the country, playing for different teams and different squads, and obviously you're involved in London here in the southeast, but there are squad members who come from far up north in Yorkshire and the northwest. How often do you get together? It
gets a lot more busy towards the majors. Now we've got Euros, we'll be seeing each other probably nearly every week, for a 2 or 3 day camp. In the off season, we see each other once every 3 weeks, maybe. But yeah, we're getting into the busy season at the moment.
Looking ahead to next summer and the Paralympic Games in Rio. I mean, as you say, you don't want to necessarily have that looming too much over what's actually immediately in front of you, but it is still tantalisingly close again. It's amazing to think we're 3 years beyond London. It's only a year to the next Paralympic Games and Olympic Games next year. It's incredible.
It does seem to have gone really quickly. I remember watching the London 2012 Games from the stands and, wanting to be a part of it, and it just seems to have come around so quick. We've had great opportunities since London. With the funding we get from the UK Sport and Lottery, we're able to go, to all the best places to make our team as strong as possible, hopefully, to compete in Rio.
And as you say, how inspiring was London for many people, yourself watching from the stands, but have you noticed other people getting involved in the sport because of the exposure that it got as a consequence of London? Because this week, obviously, we've been remembering the 10 years since London was awarded the Games.
Yeah, definitely. We originally had 8 teams in the country before London 2012, and now we've got 18 with a couple in kind of progress as well. So, it's almost doubled in size, the league structure. So there's definite legacy there for our sport.
And do you think it's growing and growing and will continue growing?
We've got more and more opportunities now. So we've got a big tournament coming up in October, the BTWWRC, and again, that should hopefully reach out to a lot of people, get more people interested in the game. It's going to be televised, so all of these things help.
Yeah, because that tournament's taking place at the Copper Box, isn't it, on the Olympic Park, and it's all part of the Rugby Union World Cup.
Yeah, it should be a great tournament. We've got the 7 top teams in the world and South Africa coming over. It's as high level as you can possibly get with, mirroring some of the teams from the World Cup.
That, as you say, that tournament here in London will give an opportunity to people who've maybe not seen wheelchair rugby that often, or maybe they saw it during the Paralympic Games and have lapsed to really re-engage with the sport. Because for those who maybe haven't seen it, it's certainly worth watching, isn't it? As a participant, I mean, what's it like to compete in?
Oh, it's great. It's so fast-paced and technical. You don't notice crowds when you're playing because you just have to be solely concentrated on the game. But as you say, it would be great to get the public engaged again. Had a real big takeoff in London, and everyone I heard who had seen it really got involved and wanted to see more. So I think it's perfect for us as a sport to be in such a great venue during a Rugby World Cup.
So as a player, as someone who is captaining their country, Chris, what sort of level of training do you have to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, either individually, and then, as you say, when you get together with your club, or when you get together with the national squad? How does your week pan out?
So when we're not with the national squad, I'll train 5 days a week, and that'll be Monday to Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday will be strength and conditioning, and Monday and Wednesday will be kind of training with my club, so essentially learning the game. And Saturday I'll try and get a gym session in as well. So you get Friday and Sunday rest, but you're sore 7 days a week. So.
Do you ever feel 100%, or are you always carrying a niggle and feel a little bit bruised and bashed? Is that just the way of it, being a top level sportsman? I
think you sometimes feel 100%, but when you do feel 100%, you're like, why am I not in the gym? So, we're used to being sore, and as soon as we do feel 100%, we should be ready for gameplay or heading into the gym. So, you kind of miss it when you have 2 days off. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, you want to get back out there, really, in many respects. And just in regards to the strength of the sport, as you say, that there's been a doubling of number of teams in the country since 2012. More and more people playing. Do you see a conveyor belt of talent coming through as well? The young talent. Do you actually not? You can't rest on your laurels that your place in the squad is necessarily going to be guaranteed moving forward, that you've always got to be, as you say, on your A game. You've always got to be pushing yourself.
Definitely. I mean, we've just went out to a tournament in Poland, and we had a development side along there with us, and some of the guys are playing great. It's just a matter of time before they're going to be pushing us, like you say. And then there's other younger people, we're getting a few kind of 15, 16-year-olds popping their heads up, and that's nice to see, because that was never really part of it. We had people getting injured at, mid-20s and stuff like that, and then learning the trade from there. But it's always great to get really young talent coming through, because it's easiest to learn when you're young.
So it's a big 12 months coming up. I mean, starting with this trip to Switzerland, then the Europeans, and then obviously the tournament in London in October, and which tickets are available, I understand, which people can go online and find out from the Wheelchair Rugby GP, and then obviously fingers crossed Rio next year. I mean, this is a huge 12-month cycle again.
We really have to keep it one tournament at a time. That will help us, If we start thinking about Rio now, it can, take our minds off the Euros. And we haven't won the Euros for 7 years, so we need to put that right first. Then try and medal at the BT WWRC, and things will take care of themselves, and we'll be able to prepare for Rio then.
Yes, they will. Next summer. It's amazing to think, actually, it's 3 years since the Olympic and Paralympic Games in London, and we're already now talking, we're in that sort of 12-month cycle heading towards next year's Olympic Games, Paralympic Games, excuse me, in Rio. And there is that opportunity. It's going to be at the Copper Box as part of the Rugby Union World Cup sort of month. That's a month and a half, which is taking place. But the 7-team tournament, some great teams going to be over here for the wheelchair rugby tournament, and it's worth going along. It really is a spectacular sport to see, and the nuances of it, the skills of it, and they don't half bash into each other. They really do give it a right old go. So if you're interested in that, if you've been inspired maybe to go and have a look, I think I highly recommend. Some of it will be on telly as well, I think, during the period of the Rugby World Cup, which is up